Momentum moves fast. It pushes you forward with urgency and force. Morale, on the other hand, is a quiet strength. It roots itself deep in the heart, growing steadily, sustaining you when momentum fades. Ask yourself, which lasts longer? The rush of rapid progress or the steady beat of loyalty? Sun Tzu knew this. He was no stranger to the battlefield's chaos. Yet his true power came not from speed alone, but from the unwavering spirit he inspired in his soldiers. He understood that an army's greatest asset wasn't just the sharpness of its swords or the number of its ranks, but the loyalty that held them together through every trial. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu writes, "Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley." This is not simply strategy. It's a call to honor, respect, and genuine care, a foundation for lasting morale. He teaches us something profound. Leadership is not just about winning battles. It's about winning hearts. Momentum drives immediate action. It's the surge that carries your team through the first wave of challenges, the burst of energy when a new goal is set. But momentum alone is fragile. It can vanish as quickly as it appears. One setback, one failure, and momentum can vanish, leaving a hollow shell of effort. Morale, however, is different. Morale is the quiet flame beneath the surface that refuses to go out. It is built on trust, on shared sacrifice, on belief in a cause bigger than oneself. Imagine a general who commands with authority but ignores the spirit of his soldiers. His orders might be obeyed out of fear or discipline, but will they stand firm when the path darkens? Will they endure the cold nights, the hunger, the uncertainty? Probably not. But a general who values his people, who understands their fears, hopes, and dreams, builds something stronger, a bond that no hardship can break. Sun Tzu's wisdom cuts through time because it speaks to this truth. He doesn't just advise how to win battles. He reveals how to build loyalty that outlasts any fight. Morale is more than motivation. It is a deep-rooted dedication. It's what makes a team say, "We will stand together no matter what." It's the invisible thread that connects leader and follower, binding them with mutual respect and purpose. Momentum can be measured by progress. How fast you move, how many tasks get checked off. Morale is less tangible. It's felt in the quiet moments, the shared glance of understanding, the unspoken commitment to keep going, the courage that surfaces when the odds seem impossible. Sun Tzu knew that to truly lead, you must nourish morale. He understood that soldiers fight better when they feel valued, listened to, and part of a shared mission. He warns against the folly of neglecting the human element in warfare. Treat your troops well, for they will fight not because of your orders, but because of their loyalty to you. This is a lesson for all leaders. Whether you lead a team in the boardroom, a community group, or on the battlefield, the principle holds. Build morale, not just momentum. Because momentum can propel you forward today, but morale will carry you through tomorrow and every day after. Think about the teams you know, the ones that thrive through change, pressure, and setbacks. What do they have in common? They have leaders who inspire trust, leaders who invest in their people's well-being, leaders who create a culture where loyalty grows naturally. Sun Tzu's approach is clear. Leadership is an art of connection. It's about seeing your people as more than resources. It's about weaving a fabric of shared purpose and unwavering commitment. Let's revisit his words. When the soldiers have spirit and are united, the enemy will not be able to stand against them. Spirit and unity, these arise from morale, not mere momentum. So ask yourself, are you leading with the pulse of momentum alone? Or are you cultivating the deeper, enduring morale that holds your team together when the winds shift? Momentum is a spark. Morale is the flame that keeps the fire burning. Sun Tzu's legacy teaches us that true strength lies not in quick victories, but in the loyalty that outlasts the battle. It's a reminder that every leader's greatest weapon is the trust and respect of those who follow. Because at the end of the day, people don't just fight for orders. They fight for leaders who fight for them. And that is the difference between fleeting success and lasting triumph. Morale is the soil in which loyalty takes root. Momentum is the wind that sweeps across the field, powerful but fleeting. Without rich soil, the seeds carried by the wind will not grow. Sun Tzu's wisdom teaches us that leadership is not a sprint. It's a long march through uncertain terrain. And in that journey, morale is the compass that keeps the team aligned and the anchor that holds them steady. Consider this. Momentum can give you a fast start. It can push a team to meet a deadline, to close a deal, or to win a short battle. But momentum can falter. It depends heavily on external conditions, energy levels, resources, and immediate wins. When those fade, so does the drive. Morale is different. Morale is internal. It's the belief that what you're doing matters. It's the trust in your leader and in each other. It's the shared conviction that even if the path is hard, you will not walk it alone. Sun Tzu understood this deeply. He knew that armies with strong morale could weather storms that would break others. He wrote that those who are united in spirit will be victorious, no matter how many enemies they face. This unity in spirit is not accidental. It's cultivated. It's the product of leaders who invest in their people's confidence and well-being. Leaders who communicate clearly, who listen, who show empathy. Momentum might get a team to move. Morale makes them want to move together and keep moving, even when the road gets rough. Look at history's great leaders. Their victories were not just tactical, but moral. They created cultures where every member felt valued and understood, where setbacks were faced not with despair, but with determination. Why does morale matter so much? Because it builds resilience. When morale is high, teams recover faster from failure. They innovate more boldly. They support each other in ways that momentum alone cannot inspire. Momentum is a burst of speed. Morale is endurance. Momentum gets you over the first hill. Morale helps you cross the mountain range. Sun Tzu's strategies emphasize the power of morale to sustain an army through long campaigns. He knew that battles are won not just by force, but by the spirit that drives every soldier to press on. How does morale manifest? It shows up in trust, in the willingness of people to take risks because they believe their leader has their back, in the courage to face uncertainty because the team is united. Momentum can be quantified, numbers, metrics, deadlines. Morale is harder to measure, but it's unmistakable when it's present. You see it in the way people carry themselves, in their commitment, in their loyalty. Sun Tzu's teaching reminds us that leadership without morale is brittle. It can crumble when tested. But leadership with morale is like a tree with deep roots. It bends with the wind, but does not break. Ask yourself, are you focusing on the quick wins that momentum brings? Or are you nurturing the deeper connection that morale creates? Because the truth is this, momentum can win battles. Morale wins wars. Sun Tzu's philosophy invites us to lead with heart and strategy, to build teams not just capable of action, but of enduring belief, to understand that morale is the foundation beneath every successful endeavor. When morale thrives, so does loyalty, and loyalty fuels resilience and sustained effort. Momentum can carry a team through a short storm. Morale prepares them for the long seasons ahead. Leadership is a test of endurance. Sun Tzu shows us that the leader who cultivates morale builds a force no hardship can dismantle. So remember, momentum is the spark. Morale is the steady flame. Without morale, momentum will fade, and so will the hope that drives it. But with morale, your team will stand firm, united in purpose and spirit, ready to face whatever comes next. Don't just chase momentum. Don't just push for results. Ask yourself, how are you building loyalty? How are you cultivating morale? Leadership often falls into two distinct paths. One demands relentless pressure to maintain momentum. The other follows Sun Tzu's wisdom, leading with empathy, respect, and a focus on morale. The first path is tempting. It promises quick wins, fast progress, and visible results. You set high targets, drive hard, and expect your team to keep pace. The rhythm is fast, the pace intense. But here's the risk. Momentum driven by pressure alone can burn teams out. It can drain energy and sap the spirit. When people feel pushed without being valued, motivation fades. Engagement drops. Trust erodes. Momentum can become a treadmill, fast, exhausting, and ultimately unsustainable. Now look at the second path. It's less flashy, but far more powerful in the long run. Inspired by Sun Tzu, this approach prioritizes the human element. It recognizes that people are not machines to be driven. They are hearts and minds to be inspired. Leaders who build morale invest in relationships. They understand that loyalty grows from genuine care and respect. They provide clear purpose, listen actively, and recognize contributions. This approach doesn't just seek short-term gains. It builds a foundation for sustained effort, even when challenges mount. Momentum depends on quick wins. Morale depends on trust, and trust takes time to build. Sun Tzu's leadership was never about relentless pressure alone. It was about balance, knowing when to advance and when to pause, when to push and when to nurture. He said, "If you treat your men well, they will follow you beyond the call of duty." This is not a tactic. It's a philosophy. When a leader pushes too hard without building morale, the result is often burnout and disengagement. People may comply, but their hearts are elsewhere. Their commitment is fragile. But when morale is fostered, people give more than what is asked. They bring creativity, resilience, and a willingness to go the extra mile. Momentum-driven leadership risks creating followers who act out of obligation. Morale-driven leadership creates believers who act out of conviction. Imagine two teams. One is driven by tight deadlines and constant pressure. The other is driven by a shared vision and mutual respect. Which team will weather setbacks better? Which will innovate under stress? Which will stand united when the stakes are high? The answer lies in morale. Sun Tzu's lessons remind us that leadership is about people first. Without morale, momentum is a fragile force. With morale, momentum becomes unstoppable. Don't mistake movement for progress. Don't mistake compliance for commitment. Morale is the soil where loyalty grows. Momentum is the wind that moves the leaves. Without rich soil, the leaves will fall. Ask yourself, are you leading with relentless pressure, risking burnout? Or are you leading with empathy, building loyalty that lasts? Because leadership isn't just about moving fast. It's about moving together. Sun Tzu's principles guide us to lead with heart and strategy, balancing drive with care. To build teams that don't just follow orders, but believe in the mission. Momentum is fleeting. Morale endures. Choose the path that builds loyalty. Choose the path that builds morale. Because in the end, it's loyalty that sustains success long after the momentum fades. Morale is not magic. It's a practice, a daily commitment you build with intention. Sun Tzu didn't just preach loyalty. He showed us how to cultivate it through deliberate action. So, how do you build lasting morale? First, lead by serving. This is servant leadership in its purest form. Show up for your team. Understand their needs, fears, and aspirations. When you lead with humility and support, you become a pillar they can rely on. Sun Tzu lived this truth. He was present with his soldiers, not distant or detached. His leadership was hands-on, grounded in empathy. Second, communicate clearly and often. Shared goals create shared purpose. When everyone understands the mission and their role, morale flourishes. Uncertainty breeds doubt. Clarity breeds confidence. Third, recognize contributions, both big and small. A simple thank you, a public acknowledgement, a personal note. These gestures ignite the flame of morale. They tell your team they matter, that their efforts are seen and valued. Sun Tzu's armies thrived because their leaders honored their sacrifices. He understood that recognition fuels dedication. Fourth, build rituals and traditions that bind the team. These might be daily check-ins, shared stories, or celebrations of milestones. Rituals create belonging. They weave a fabric of connection that holds people together. Fifth, foster open dialogue. Encourage your team to speak up, share ideas, and voice concerns. When people feel heard, they feel respected. Trust deepens, and morale strengthens. Remember, morale isn't built in a day. It grows through consistent actions that show you care, not just about results, but about the people behind those results. Look at history. Sun Tzu's methods were practiced by leaders who endured because they valued their people. They shared hardship, they celebrated wins together, and they stood united. Shared struggle can be a powerful forge for loyalty. When a leader faces challenges alongside the team, morale strengthens. People don't forget who stands with them when the going gets tough. So, invest time in the human side of leadership. Be present. Communicate purpose. Recognize effort. Create connection. Encourage voice. These are not soft skills. They are strategic essentials. Sun Tzu's legacy shows us that morale is built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. It's nurtured by leaders who see their people as partners in the journey. Because morale is more than motivation. It's a resilient force that binds teams beyond tasks and deadlines. Without it, momentum is temporary. With it, momentum becomes unstoppable. Led with these principles in mind, build morale deliberately. Watch your team transform from mere performers into loyal champions. Because morale is the heartbeat of lasting leadership. As we reflect on the journey from momentum to morale, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what do you prioritize as a leader? Is it the quick wins, the fast moves, the visible progress? Or is it the deeper, quieter force that sustains your team through every trial? The enduring morale that outlasts any immediate success. Leadership is a mirror. It reflects what you value most. When momentum becomes the sole focus, what does that say about your connection to your people? When morale is nurtured, what does that reveal about your commitment to their well-being and growth? Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "The moral is to the physical as 3 is to 1. He understood that the spirit of his troops was 3 times more decisive than their strength alone. His victories were not merely battles won by numbers or tactics, but by the loyalty and morale he cultivated within his ranks. This raises a question worth pondering. How do you engage authentically with those who follow you? Are you present in their struggles and victories? Do you create an environment where trust flourishes, where people feel safe to bring their whole selves to the mission? Morale is not a byproduct of leadership, it is its lifeblood. Without it, even the most talented teams can falter. Without it, momentum loses its meaning. Yet, nurturing morale requires courage. It demands vulnerability, the willingness to listen, to admit mistakes, to invest time in relationships amid pressing demands. It requires patience, because morale is built over time, not overnight. Ask yourself, are you ready to lead with that kind of heart? Are you prepared to move beyond the allure of quick wins and embrace the power of lasting loyalty? Because when you do, something remarkable happens. You don't just build a team, you build a legacy. A legacy of trust, resilience, and unwavering commitment that carries forward long after the momentary rush of momentum has passed. Sun Tzu's timeless wisdom reminds us that the greatest leaders win not just battles, but the hearts of their people. They inspire loyalty that endures beyond the fight. So, as you step into your role today, reflect deeply. Will you chase fleeting momentum, or will you build the morale that sustains victories for a lifetime? The choice is yours. The impact is profound, and the journey, though challenging, is worth every step. Because leadership isn't just about moving forward, it's about moving together, with hearts aligned and spirits unbreakable.